Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be following up on my previous tutorial where we were using XpShatter, and this time we're going to shutter the whole rock using the volume mode. We also going to do some texturing in Redshift, explode the rock and have a gooey substance coming out of that rock following the crevices and all the space in between those cracks. So that will be exciting. Also, the idea for that rock, the white rock in a white space, this is not mine, and it's from Sigge Bjerkhof, who I follow on Instagram, and I often get inspired by his artwork and his beautiful lighting. He creates these nice serene spaces. So the basic idea of creating that rock scene that came from him actually. So thank you very much, Sigge, and let's get to it, guys. Okay, so we are in Cinema 4D S26 and nothing really happened to my layout because I had my custom layout saved. So when I upgraded everything I had set up before, it was there. Only the icons of the Redshift changed and a couple things changed that I don't really like, but there's a lot of awesome updates. But one of the things I noticed then when I was opening my bridge, I'm kind of got scared. I'm like, oh, it's gonna, it's gonna broke it up again because we just got the bridge update where it was working with R25, and now it's not gonna work in S26 again. So that actually became true, and I'm gonna import this rock beach boulder, port it to Cinema successfully, but all you see is this error. So I'm like, oh yeah, so it's true. So that's one of the downside of updating because then if you are used to using bridge assets which they are awesome, then you're gonna have to find a workaround or you are gonna have to do something about it. So I like this kind of boulder, and I'm gonna place it in my scene, the center of my scene, just kind of up, and I'm gonna delete that texture tag, so I'm not going to use that, and I'm going to create my own texture for this rock using a new Redshift material. I'm going to have a texture prepared for it as well. So, but first let's build our scene, and I'm going to just use simple plane because the other thing is my site that I normally use. No, misclick. Oh my, the site that I normally use, it had some problems. Just create like a weird line. I don't know if it's just because of the update, if it needs to be updated, or I've increased the subdivisions on was it on a curve? Yeah, but it still showed me some kind of line here, so I'm just gonna stay away from that now, and I'm gonna use just simple floor and a wall. So I'm just gonna have a plane object, and I'm going to rotate it and hold Control, hold Shift, 90 degrees exactly. Push this back and bring this up. Just make sure it's intersecting. So this one, just bring it over here and then bring that rock. Now I'm going to put light and just dome light. So we have a dome light, and just going to name this floor and a wall. And in our dome light, I'm going to load in HDRi I. That is, I'm going to put the link in the description where you can download this one. So I'm going to include the template as well, obviously. So you can guys just check it out and download this if you want, or you can use your own HDRi. But this one creates that beautiful look of, that light from the side. And the idea for this look, it's not mine, and it's actually inspired by Sigge Bjerkhof. I follow his Instagram, and he posts these nice serene scenes where he used beautiful lighting and very simple scenes. And in one of his recent posts, he posted this kind of rock, just a white rock, white texture. I'm gonna move this dome light slightly, just so we get that rim light on that rock, like a nice side. Something like that. Oh, that looks beautiful. And then also go to our camera and put it on the super tele, hold Alt and right click in the left direction, and just kind of zoom out of that, holding Alt and just middle button positioning to our rock, and then place this rock just almost above the ground, just could create that nice shadow. So that is the look. Maybe we can increase the, I'm going to scale this and push this even more, just so we have more floor happening now. And this Super Tele create a nice compressed kind of look, and it's good for these kind of single subject scenes where it's very minimal. So we have that, and I'm gonna rotate the rock a little bit differently as well and push it a little bit over here. Yes. So this would be it. And so this is our scene. I'm gonna save it because I crashed this already once. So save project, and we're gonna do 90 rock explosion. Yeah, I don't know how to write. Yeah. So we have that, and I'm gonna put the material on it. So we're gonna start with the new standard material and apply it to our rock. So that's done. And we can go straight away because we're gonna use displacement. We can try already new diffuse model, the Lambertian spheres, which gonna create more pronounced kind of a contrasty look on those crevices. And so on our displacement, I'm gonna put in max and noise, one more, and from our utilities displacement, I'm gonna put displacement for each noise and displacement blender. So it's gonna be our displacement, and I'm gonna also save again because I don't want to crash it again. And I'm going to go to my 3D assets, substance materials, and my new 50 material pack that I'm working on, and just going to drag these textures in. No. Maybe later. And I'm just going to, oof, I totally crashing again. And displacement. So I have another displacement here. So I'm just going to hold Control, copy that over. And this is going to be our base displacement from our texture map, and drag it into our displacement blender base input. And now the emission that goes into emission color. Metalness is on different place in our Redshift standard. It's on base properties, metalness. And reflection roughness is, as always, reflection roughness. And our normal, that will go to bump map, and we need to change the bump map to normal input. So normal map to normal input bump map, texture input. So yeah, and now it's going to go to geometry bump input. Right. Now we have a diffuse, so that's going to be our base color. And we have our opacity, so that will go into geometry opacity color. Right. Now the thing we need to do is the diffuse needs to have color space of, you go to file input output, it's sRGB. So it's sRGB, and notice the shading on the rock will change. It's really, I don't know if you can see it, but then it makes a difference. So the opacity texture, all other textures, they need to be raw. So you change them to raw. If you don't do these, then you should consider inputting maps in the correct color space. It will make a difference on your overall look. Metalness. These are all raw. Now, if I'm wrong here, just let me know. But when I saw the output from the Substance Painter, I think Substance Designer, I've seen that all of these are raw, apart from the diffuse that is sRGB. Now, we're going to put displacement into output displacement. So it's all of our textures plugged in, right? I can already see its beautiful little details on that rock. And we're gonna mix that up with our Maxon noise as well. I'm just gonna go to our rock and go to render tags and bring in Redshift object, go to geometry and turn on our displacement and put it, yeah, I think 112 or 202. Okay, so that's our displacement on. And now we can plug the Maxon noise in texture map and plug them as a layer input 0 and the other one a layer input 1. Okay, so that would be noise in, and what we can do to it is we can actually have a look, Control-Shift-C, and I can have a look how that noise is looking. I'm just going to change it to something like stupid and maybe increase the overall scale. Yeah, so that one's nice. And then the other one, Control-Shift-C, I'm just going to plug it into my output and then change it to something like, I'm just guessing here, Luca. Wow, it's nice as well. So Luca like that. So we have an overall scale done. And now I'm just going to click on my standard, Control-Shift-C, plug it back in the surface so I know how my noise is displaying on the rock, and then we can blend it with our base so you can immediately see the changes it does. So I can reduce this one. And it creates a nice detail on our rock. Yeah. Okay, so we have a nice, beautiful rock. One more thing I would do just to go with that complete look of white rock. This is more gray. So we're gonna go to color correct, go to diffuse input into base color. So we're just gonna plug the color correct node in between and just increase our gamma. Just make it slightly more bright, right? I can contrast as well just to get some detail back in, and that will be it, I would say. Yeah, I'm playing with it more. So now the second phase, as we play with the XpShatter in my last tutorial when we were exploding the eggshell, this time we're going to use volume mode of that XpShatter, and we're going to explode it as a, so it's more realistic to rock object. So I'm going to press Shift-C and bring in XpShatter. And one of the things I had problem with, immediately when you insert rock into XpShatter, you will lose the texture. You will lose that texture, at least I did, once you break it. Maybe once you break it. I don't know what I did wrong last time. Okay, so we turn on our explode, and we kind of have a nice space in between where the rock is almost touching the ground, which looks super cool because it's casting that nice shadow there, and it's kind of broken in a way that we can place the emitter right inside and then emit through these spaces. So I'm gonna just plug in our XP system from our Inside XP system and bring in emitter inside of that rock. So the emitter right now is just somewhere there and it's kind of square. So I'm going to go to object and change it to circle and just drag it in and make sure it's inside of my rock. Now I'm going to change this to Z minus, so it's facing towards us, all the particles, and it doesn't react yet to anything it doesn't react to the rock yet, so we need to put on XpShatter, we need to put our Insidium tag XP Collider, but that won't help as well because it's a problem. So I realized I need to do the converting it to mesh. So I press C and I'll get all these, rock assets. So I'll drag this object tag and the texture and keep it on the null on the top. So we get the texture back on our rock. So if I look at it now, should be everything fine. Even our displacement just got some work in there, so it looks kind of nice. And the other thing, it's now you can move the separate object. So I can theoretically, if you want, you can just take one out, and make it more pronounced, or make this one more out of space. I mean, out of the full distraction, make it more random. And now it's all about trying that tag again, XP Collider. I'm going to turn off the IPR. And still doesn't work. So the next thing I was like, okay, so I'm just going to put it into connect object and put everything on that connect object. And that solved it. So now I have the connect object. In that connect object, I have the null with all the XpShatter shards. And now I'm just going to finally, emitting and getting that effect of particles coming from inside. Now I'm just going to need a little bit more particles. So I'm just going to go XP emitter emission, and I'm going to put it to like 9,000 and reduce the speed to 120, just so it's not so quickly out. I'm just going to, that's still fast for me. Just going to try 90. Yes. The next thing, I want to go to dynamics and bring in flow field. And flow field will, change the flow of these particles just so behave more like water. You see they follow these splines, or they follow these kind of directional, I don't know what you call them. But this looks much more like a fluid or some kind of a, directional gas or something, could be. The next thing you want then, once you're happy with this look, then you can still bring in motion modifier like a turbulence that will break the, that look as well even more. So you get some kind of twisting and stuff like that. So, okay. And now we're going to go to our generators, and we're going to go to OpenVDBmesher. And VDBmesher will need, emitter, say like, oh, I want this emitter to, convert it to mesh, so all these particles. So I'm just going to go voxel size 1. And point radius 1. And it's all a bunch of spheres. I'm actually going to look into the project setting from the previous one. So I'm just gonna have to okay, so I have a 0.6, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. Okay, so 0.6, 1, 1, 1.2. And I think that radius doesn't really matter. This is 46. Okay. And so this is much better. This is already have some kind of liquid properties. But what it really does is those filters. So once you say use filters and bring in Gaussian filter, you see how it immediately affects the, you know, you can increase, decrease strength, and you get different properties. It's no longer only the spheres, because if I turn them off, or if I don't use these filters, you get a lot of this kind of oh, I need to turn off the IPR. You get a lot of the sphere look, which doesn't look really realistic when you try to make it a splash. So we're gonna create a normal material this time, like the usual one. The material is material, and it's because of the presets. I'm gonna just quickly go in there and get the preset in the base properties. It's called Milky Coffee, and I don't know why there are no presets in the new ones. There's going to be a reason. And then in the subsurface, there is a extension. So I'm just going to make it this kind of lime green or whatever it is, whatever that color is. And that it will make it purple, because in the extension mode, it will always reverse to the opposite color on a wheel. So if we go to that wheel, so as you see, I'm selecting this one. If I select, so it will select this opposite color in the extension mode. And the other one was the orange that I was using for the scatter, and that will basically create that look. Now I'm just gonna need to fine tune the numbers again. I can look just so we don't spend time here just fine tuning it again. So 0.39 and 0.492, 0.39 and 0.492. Okay, 0.39, 0.412. Okay, that's nothing like I had before. It's not bad. Okay. Yeah, so something like that. And that's it, guys. It's basically all you need to know how to create these Shutterworks. Now I'm gonna let it run and stop it in the moment where I really enjoy, like here. You can also cache this, you know, you can go a little bit further away, get some drama in. Nice one. Yes, and then if you want to cache this animation, then I would go XP cache and just cache this animation, so it's gonna run faster for you. And you can play a lot with the fine-tuning in this look. You know, there's a lot of things you can play with. You can make it less kind of transparent. And I think I had a one light behind it as well. I like if I just clean this a little, I'm gonna put it in area light and put it like that, just behind it, make it smaller. Just so it's illuminating that liquid. I'm just gonna put the floor a little bit more down. And you can also put a collider on a wall and the ground, so it will prevent, you know, it will prevent particles going through. going through that. I don't have a separation anymore there, so something like that. Now in the settings, I was using quite high settings, so 300, 3200. But when you're working, you're just gonna go, you know, even 1080, just so it's respond faster. So you can check in IPR quicker. You know, it reacts quicker. So when you're working on stuff like that, it's definitely use lower settings, and then once you're ready to, you know, work on that look, or then you can increase your setting as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna delete that area light because I don't think we need it. That HDRi does pretty good job. So yeah, we can play with this material more, and you can you know, obviously call in different colors and make it look more funky. Good stuff. Gonna increase the samples on that one. I think I'm gonna stay like that. Okay. And turn on the filters again, because I forgot we turned them off. I'm like, why is it looking so bad? Let it run. You know, stop it here. Maybe I'm gonna just change it to 94 frames for the whole scene. And then I'm gonna go to that XP cache, go to our inclusions, and just turn off everything else, just so it's not so much, and just keep on the OpenVDB. I don't even need particles. I just want that VDB to be cached. So I'm just gonna press start. I'm gonna build a cache. I'm gonna build it. I'm just gonna have a look, one more look at it. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We can try to place these colliders on our wall as well, and on our, let's see how that will react. Okay, so it will bounce off that, so that's good. Wow, this is like a load. It's maybe too much. It's gonna reduce the scale of that turbulence, and as well there is emitter speed to be considered. So if we go to emission and change it to 60, just so it's not spreading so wildly, just gonna slowly getting out. Nice one. You can always go to that flow field and check the strength of it, how much, you know, the particles will follow that flow field. And then, you know, this is much more liquidy and weird gooey almost, which I kind of like. So, you know, you can go with that, and you can just again preview that, how that will look. Wow, I kind of like it. So it depends on what you want to achieve. There's different modes that you can do along spline as well, and you can follow different modes. So you can draw spline around that rock and literally use that flow field, and turn off the IPR, have a look how it behaves. Okay, so we just increase that scale on that turbulence, and maybe even the, well, that was too much. Yeah, so you can play forever basically, and once you find something you like, then you go back to render settings, and you can go to settings and just go 3240, which is 1080 by 3, and you can really prepare it for Instagram posts. So you can position it properly, and once you're happy with that, then you ready to go. Yes. So yeah, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I really like the look of it. Again, the initial log of that white rock and the inspiration came from Sigge Bjerkhof. So definitely check his Instagram, and hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye. Okay, so there's one more thing I would like to talk about, and now when I'm rendering this and actually see these kind of sharp, sharp bits that we might gonna try to prevent it by I'm gonna stop that rendering, and I'm just gonna go to render docs, Redshift object, and go to geometry and tessellation, and we might gonna get much better results this way. Oh, definitely use tessellation on that one, because that will hide all these sharp, because you can see in that cache that this is kind of sharp bits. So these will get fixed by, I don't know if that, yeah, these will get fixed by if you put on a mesh geometry tessellation Redshift object. So I'm gonna render it again, and I already cached the VDBmesher. So because there's some issues as well if you don't cache it, and then you just go to some kind of frame 56 you like, and then you just render it, sometimes it renders something like over here, it won't render the whole mesh, so it creates kind of problem. So it's better if you cache it, and this way you will prevent any possible issues and like that. So I think I'm gonna render this one out, and this one too wild. Yeah, something like that. So I'm gonna render this, and yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And then in your render settings, I'm no expert on render settings yet, so I can't really help you with that. I have classic 4K settings because I want to use this one for thumbnail. And the other thing is, if I go to Redshift, I went to the overrides and subsurface single scattering 2024. Maybe I should have done it even more. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it, but yeah, that's what I did. Reflections and refractions. Reflections and the light are 1024. Reflections are 2048, and threshold is 0.01. So we'll see how this comes out. I can't see anything yet, but yeah, I wish you good luck in making your crazy gooey rock. Anyway, see you in the next one.